East of Eden is a novel by John Steinbeck about the Salinas Valley and its inhabitants that touches on the ideas of good versus evil, remorse, jealousy, rivalry, and many more. Today we will be looking at the setting, the characters, and certain passages that show how it reflects and parallels the Bible.
The story takes place in Salinas Valley, California. California was chosen because during the age of manifest destiny, there was a belief that God gave them the right to expand their nation to the west. California had a notion of being a heavenly place and thought of as the promised land due to life. The setting refers to the story of Genesis and its overall theme, good and evil. In the book of Genesis, Adam and Eve are placed in the Garden of Eden, a peaceful and beautiful place. Similarly, Kathy and Adam move to the Salinas Valley, a place full of sun and loveliness. The setting of the novel even portrays the theme good and evil. At the start of the book, John Steinbeck describes the east side of the valley to be filled with light, sun, and warmth, signifying the good, while the west is described as dark, brooding, unfriendly, and dangerous. The setting plays an important role in the novel as many of the characters struggle between balancing good and evil.
In the novel, there are many parallels between the characters in the book and the characters in Genesis from the Bible. To start, Kathy Ames is closely related to Eve from the story of Adam and Eve in the garden. Eve commits a sinful act of bringing evil into the world when she eats a piece of fruit from the tree, knowing that God had instructed her not to do so. Similarly, Kathy embraces her evil and does sinful acts on her own will to do so. Kathy not only burns her house down with her parents inside, but is also a prostitute, shoots her husband in the head, and abandons her kids after birth. In the Bible, when God asks Cain and Abel to bring him a sacrifice, Cain brings him a grain and Abel offers his best lamb. God favors Abel's sacrifice over Cain's, which makes him very upset, ultimately leading him to murder his brother Abel with a stone. Adam and Charles are the first generation Trask boys that represent Cain and Abel. Their father, Cyrus Trask, favors Adam's birthday gift of a puppy over Charles' gift of a sharp knife. Charles gets very angry and beats up his brother since he is unable to control his temper. Even though Charles does not kill his brother, he does injure him very severely. The second generation of Trask boys, Caleb and Aaron, also connect to Cain and Abel. Adam favors his son Aaron over Caleb in the same way that Adam's father preferred him over his brother Charles. Caleb sends his father a birthday gift of $15,000, and when his father scrutinizes him for it, he decides to go after his brother Aaron in revenge. Although he does not directly kill his brother, Caleb completely destroys Aaron's belief that his mother is dead by taking him to see her prostitution house. When Aaron sees this, he is so devastated that he joins the army, where he later ends up getting killed.
In East of Eden, they are constantly referring to Timshel, which itself is a biblical term. Timshel is a Hebrew word that can be translated to thou mayest. The final word of the 600-plus page novel is Timshel, proving just how important this word and its concept is to the story. This next quote is an excerpt from East of Eden when they are discussing the meaning of Timshel. This quote embodies how the book relates to the Bible. And there are millions more who feel predestination in thou shalt. Nothing they may do can interfere with what will be. But thou mayest. Why, this makes a great man, that gives him stature with the gods, for in his weakness, in filth and murder of his brother, he still has great choice. A very important part of this quote is when they say murder of his brother. This hints to the biblical story of Cain and Abel. And the word Timshel, also the topic of this quote, is found in the book of Genesis during the story of Cain and Abel. When the opportunity for Cain to kill Abel sits right in front of him, God uses the words of Timshel to speak with Cain about sin.